The most recent video on this channel was a video on Money in the Bank and who I thought from the men's roster would make a good candidate for winning Money in the Bank. I picked 3 superstars from the men's main roster and went through why I thought they would make a good selection for Money in the Bank. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the women's side of things and picking 3 women that I could see winning Money in the Bank this year as we continue on this journey towards Money in the Bank in Toronto this year. Again, if you missed that first video, I highly suggest going to check that out first and then coming back to this one. So quick rundown of this video. I have selected 3 women from the WWE main roster that I think would make a very good candidate to win Money in the Bank this year. I'm going to go through the 3, explain why I think they would make a good winner, and see what storylines could come from them winning. It is worth mentioning that I've had these 3 names selected for a while now, and I had them written down before the qualifying matches started, so you're going to see somebody who is actually already qualified for the women's Money in the Bank match. First, we're going to look at the center of the universe herself, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton has had a very solid call-up from NXT, and she's been given a lot of opportunities along the way, working with big-name superstars. We get a glimpse of how popular she truly is over in Australia at Elimination Chamber. So why does she make sense to me? I think she does because I see her being a mainstay in this new WWE era that's coming in. She has got one of the brighter futures in the women's division out of all of the NXT call-ups. And overall, her character work is incredible. And I think adding the Money in the Bank briefcase to her character would add so much to her character. And I know she would knock it out of the park. I see her as a big future piece in WWE. In the other video, I mentioned Braun Breaker as being one of my 3 candidates to win. Probably not going to happen, but that possibility is still on the table. And I think Tiffany Stratton could get the same treatment if she wins the Money in the Bank briefcase in Toronto this year. Up next, I have Io Sky. Now, again, as I said earlier, I had this list picked before this most recent episode of Monday Night Raw, which saw Io Sky win the qualifying match. I had her picked before this because I think it would be really interesting to see a repeat Money in the Bank winner. I do think that WWE isn't opposed to bringing back Io versus Bayley again. I think there still is some story left to tell from that feud, and I think putting the Money in the Bank briefcase on Io Sky would add a lot to that feud, providing that that's the direction WWE wants to go with. Even if she doesn't go after Bayley, who's to say she doesn't go after Liv Morgan? We've seen this kind of different side to Io Sky since she lost, and this kind of more determined, and she's really started to bring out her anger a lot more since losing. So I think, again, it would be a fun story to tell of her being a repeat winner of Money in the Bank and chasing down a championship yet again. We saw what it did for her character last year, so why not try to do that again and perhaps try to make her into a bigger star and maybe one day breaking off from Damage Control. Lastly, we're going to be taking a look at Zelina Vega. Now, if you've been following along on WWE TV, you will know that Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan have kind of started a little mini feud here. So I think that leads to one of 2 things. One, they give us the match straight up at SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, or the second option, they have Zelina win the Money in the Bank briefcase, causing her to chase Liv Morgan for the title. If they do have her win, that would build up the story and the rivalry between those 2, and it makes sense that they're doing it because Liv Morgan is just non-stop pestering Dominic Mysterio, who's standing so unbelievably strong. I don't know how he's doing it, but he is somehow. And he's got big brother Damien watching out for him too. And I think Zelina is doing all of this because she's still trying to protect Dominic in some sort of way because he's still Rey Mysterio's son. Even despite Dominic being a mega heel and just being the dastardly, dirty Dom that he is, she still realizes that deep down he is still Rey Mysterio's son and is still trying to protect him for Rey. And since apparently everyone is falling for Dominic Mysterio nowadays, who's to say that Zelina doesn't fall for Dom? I mean, it's Dominic Mysterio after all. Everyone's going after him. But regardless of if that happens or not, we'll have to find out and see, obviously. No matter how they do it, I think Zelina getting the briefcase would be very good for this storyline. I think it would give the LWO a little more representation, and overall, I think it would be a fun storyline to tell between Zelina Vega chasing Liv Morgan down. Again, those are just 3 superstars that I picked from the women's main roster, and obviously WWE can go in any direction they want, but this is where I want to hear from you. I asked you in the last video, who did I not say that you would like to see win Money in the Bank this year? Do you think it would be a returning superstar, maybe Alexa Bliss, maybe somebody else? Do you see them going with someone like Lyra Valkyria, who has been getting a mega push, it seems like, creating a fun dynamic between her holding the briefcase and Nia Jax being Queen of the Ring and kind of building up a little feud there? Or do they go straight out of left field and pick somebody that nobody expects? That's the beauty of making these videos, is we're just going to have to wait and see. With all of that being said, that's going to do it for this video here. Down below